He's a District 4 City Council person and the Vice Mayor. And he is a self-described bridge builder, freedom believer, and person of the cross. Please welcome Dalton Glasscock.
If it isn't evident by the Phil Collins introductory song, I'm a child of the 90s. Oh, there we go. What being a child of the 90s means is we spent our formative years being told that anything was possible, and it was told for the 2 decades after that everything was falling apart. My American dream hits home because I saw the 90s of a period of opportunity and optimism in this country. Home ownership was at a high, the economy was better than it had ever been before. The Cold War had ended, and technology seemed new and exciting. As the story of America goes, the tale of two Americas. I also saw the post-September 11th America in my early formative years, and in fact, my first memory in life was September 11th, 2001. I remember coming home from first grade, coming into my parents' home, and see them emotional as the towers began to collapse. I don't know what was instilled in me as a young kid, but I became a deeply patriotic American in that moment. I remember running outside of my house with an American flag and coming home to paint Uncle Sam in my driveway. And as proof of that, I just happened to be opening my time capsule, and I found the actual flag, and this just happened to be this week, this is not just theater, that I had ran and put in a time capsule to remind me of that later on. My parents were not political, and I think probably wondered what the heck I was doing when I ran out of the house. But following that, I saw an America that changed. I saw an America where divisiveness increased, the war on terror remained for decades. I saw economic collapse, and I saw us not see each other as neighbors. But for me, the American dream hits much closer to home because I see it in the story of my family. In a typical Wichita story, my dad worked in aviation, my mom was a small business owner in healthcare, and I came from a long line of patriots who deeply believed in service and sacrifice to their country. My great-grandfather was a prisoner of war in World War II, suffering at the Stalag concentration camp under Nazi tyranny. My grandfather was a Purple Heart veteran in Korea. My other grandfather came back home after a hardship discharge to take care of his 13 siblings, of which he was the oldest. In my family, I saw my father work in aviation, who got laid off twice in that process. My brother went through cancer treatment not only once, but twice, and again 3 times. My story is not unique to most people in this room. As Americans, we always face challenges, especially with what that means to be an American, and my family felt the same way. For me, I also saw a generation that questioned that on a global scale as well. What does it mean to be an American? Where do we fit and where do we belong? As a gay, conservative Christian kid in Kansas, I also felt the same thing, coming to terms with my identity and where I fit in the American story. And the story that I saw from my parents was a story and a belief that every generation could leave the next one something better. My grandparents did not graduate from high school. My parents never went to college, and for them, one small part of their American dream and their American story was to see their kids go to college, to which I'm the first in both sides of my family. But America is not black and white. However, in our founding documents, subscribed in the preamble of the Constitution, I think we see the American dream, or what the belief was told in the 1930s of what that dream could be. That we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings to ourselves and our prosperity, we do ordain and establish the Constitution for the United States. But that sounds so academic, and it has to be realized in the American story as well. For me, that story was realized when I had the chance to go abroad. I had the unique privilege of representing America in more than a dozen countries, but the one that stood out to me most was when I had the opportunity to stand at the border of Poland and Ukraine at the start of the Russian invasion. In that moment, Democracy quit being theoretical and became real. It also, freedom seems so fragile and so easy to lose. What I saw in my textbooks from European War and World War II in black and white came to life in color when I saw grandmas walking across the border solely with their animals at their backs. I saw mothers with their daughters come across with simple luggage. And to me, I realized what I often take for granted in America as being ordinary is extraordinary to so many parts of the world. In that moment, I had the opportunity to present a flag flown over the US Capitol to a Polish general at the border. And through translation and through tears, he had the opportunity to tell me what that flag meant to him and what his American dream was. For those moments, I'll be forever changed coming here and talking about my story of my American dream. I believe that every generation has been faced with the challenges that we see, whether that be war, political division, or social upheaval. And every generation answered the call of how do they leave the generation better than they found it. I've seen that story answered in my family. I've seen that story answered in so many families across this country. And I've seen that hope from across the world. I'm confident that the world believes in the American story. And I think it's time that we believe in ourselves as well. Thank you.